Hey, all right. This is the Libertarian Party of Indiana. It is Saturday, November 16th at 10:31. 10:31 a.m. And I call this meeting to order. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
All right. Chair McMahon is here. Vice Chair Alexander. Kristen.
I'm here.
There she is. I'm here. Secretary Soltz. Treasurer Schulteis.
Present.
Tech Hagerman.
Here.
Comms Smith. I don't think he's here. D1 Schick.
Present.
D2 Coquillard.
Here.
D3 Avery.
Sort of here.
D4 Lundy.
Present.
D5 Shillings. Oh, we can hear you,
Present.
Lori, but
Sorry.
oh, there you are.
My microphone's been
D6
issues.
Lomax.
Here.
D7 Glass.
Here.
D9 Kinzer.
Present.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Darren. Assistant Treasurer Dixon.
Here.
Assistant Secretary Dasbach, I believe, is not here. So, Mr. Chair, I count 13 voting members, 1 non-voting member, and 1 guest.
Did the guest introduce herself?
Not yet.
Do we mention her name?
I see Antonia Kofer from Morgan County. Welcome, Antonia.
All right. Did everybody get the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, any objection to the agenda as presented? Okay, the agenda is adopted. Report starting with appointment of timekeeper. Mr. Hagerman, can you be timekeeper?
Sure.
Okay. Reports from the officers, starting with the chair. We had, and Mr. Smith just entered the room. FYI, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you.
Leading up to the election and on election day, and actually a couple of days thereafter, there were a few election incidences involving polling places. Obviously, I believe the sign issue in Vigo County was after our last SCC meeting. I think, was that the case? Essentially, that issue is a private location, in this instance, a union hall, was contracted, and I'm putting quotes around contracted, but was requested by the county to host a vote center. That vote center allowed signs for some candidates, but not all candidates. And they kept removing the signs, and another candidate that their signs were allowed to stay allowed one of our candidates to put a trail cam up to see who was taking the signs. And it turned out that it was the Union Hall president. There was a big kerfuffle, and we challenged them taking them as a vote center, even though they weren't yet open for voting. They were a registered, listed place for voting and had political signs out for some candidates. During all of this, the Indiana Election Division, both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, decided that there is no specific statute in the law that prevents a private operating voting location as a vote center or polling place limiting their ability to remove signs and campaign workers at any point, even on election day. So a Republican leaning organization could remove all of the campaign signs and all of the campaign volunteers on election day from their property, even though they are operating as an agent of the state or the county. The reason why I said contracted in quotes was because the Vigo County clerk informed me that they don't actually have a contract. They just trust that they'll do good. So they're not getting paid. and they don't have a contract. And I said, well, those are bad policies on your part. It doesn't mitigate the fact that they are acting as your agent. Therefore, the same behavior requirements and restrictions that would apply to the county courthouse for voting should apply to any other organization, period. The election division disagrees. So it's no surprise we are going to make this an issue. I already have a couple of legislators who see this as a problem and are going to work with me to introduce legislation in January. But we are probably also going to take this to the courts because this is a chilling effect. And by the way, that same location had yard signs out at the entrance of their facility that said the Union Hall endorses and then the name of the candidates. At the place that you're voting, this place endorses these candidates. So it's a significant issue, and it's one that I'm going to be taking on as a passion project. See if we can get a coalition of other organizations like the ACLU, some First Amendment places, political watchdog groups to maybe want to join in on this as well. We are harmed as the political party and the candidates, so it's our standing, but I'd like to bring in other organizations to help us with that lifting and that load. That was mostly everything that's happened from the chair standpoint since the election or since our last SCC meeting. We had a good election night party. You guys have all seen the results of the election, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit more later. So with that, I'm going to pass. Are there any questions for the chair?
I've been looking in the chat. There are questions.
Yeah, fire's on my list.
Thank you for all your work you did in the election, Mr. Chair. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Next, Vice Chair, Ms. Alexander.
I'm going to keep this pretty short for the vice chair report. I'm focusing on membership and conventions, mostly state convention, but I also want to offer the same thing that I offered last year. If there is a county convention that would like me to attend their county convention, please tell them to invite me, send me a Google invite, send me an email. I will see what I can do. I'm happy to support our local counties. I want to keep them affiliated. If you hear of anybody looking to affiliate a new county, also send them my way. Any questions?
Okay, hearing no questions. Mr. Treasurer.
As of Halloween, across all of our accounts, we have a available balance of $10,566.88. Our balance does seem to be trending upwards, so congratulations to the party for increasing fundraising and keeping expenses relatively minimal.
I would like to take a moment to recognize Mr. Lundy sent us a reply email. I think it went to the entire SCC making recommendations for the change of the report. I think that's a solid recommendation to incorporate into the report. Are you talking to us, Mr. Schultheis? No, you weren't. Okay.
No, I was on mute.
Gotcha. Any questions for the treasurer? I will also use this moment to say we might want to add like an extra minute to both the treasurer and the secretary's reports moving forward to give a minute for the assistant treasurers because they're tasked with things and might want to give updates on that. Case in point, I will note that Mr. Dixon is working on the triple membership payout spreadsheets, and he did get it done. He got the previous or the November report for the month of October was input in. Now it just needs to be paid by the treasurer. We're going to work more on that, but he did get that done. I haven't responded to you because I'm in Vegas. So,
do you need a motion to that effect?
I don't think so. I think I can just do that in general when creating the agenda, give an additional time for the assistants. let's see. Were there any other questions for the treasurer? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Schultheis. Secretary Schultz, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a really busy couple of months that I just keep getting busier in my elected positions, which I know isn't secretary, but it's a party thing. And I mean, it's good things. I'm a likely vice president of the area plan commission for my county next year. So I'm hoping to be president in 2 years. We'll see. But then election season, transporting signs, helping things in the district. Had a couple counties where I was trying to transport signs. I have been putting several minutes back to 2023 in Civi CRM to go on the website, but that link still needs to be made live apparently, because I can see them as a page, but apparently when people go to the link, it doesn't work. And I will just note that we do actually have 2 sets of minutes to approve today. The August minutes were not approved in the October meeting that I saw. So I mean, we need to do those both at some point. We didn't have a September meeting, and the August minutes have not yet been officially adopted that I know of.
I thought we did in October.
We did not because Clayton was not here.
Yeah, I wasn't here, and so I mean, I wasn't here to remind us. So
I remember
it
looking at
wasn't
the
done.
August minutes and I don't think I saw any edits to it needed.
Yeah.
Is there so you have August and October to approve, correct?
Correct. And they both should have been. I mean, August was sent out quite a while ago, of course. Then I just sent out October yesterday. And I apologize for not getting that earlier. It takes much longer when I don't have my live notes to go off of. But so if we push October to next meeting, I can live with that since that wasn't out. But I don't want to push August any further.
Yeah, I would entertain a motion to approve the August minutes.
I would motion that, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Mr. Kinzer, seconded by, I'm going to say Mr. Lomax. Any objection to the approval of the August minutes? Okay, the August minutes are approved. And
Then
minutes, we'll put that on the agenda for the December meeting.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, I'm willing to push them off. It was a small meeting. Really the only vote other than reports.
Actually there wasn't anything.
The only real action item was appointing Stephanie Dasbach as assistant secretary. So
do the minutes say that we appointed her?
Yes.
Miss Alexander.
Can we do an email motion to approve the minutes?
Try to avoid those. I think we might be able to just go ahead and approve them.
Yeah.
Have anything of substance. We just appointed, I mean, we appointed an assistant secretary, but if that's mentioned in the minutes, then because I don't think we even did a roll call vote. It was just the yays and nays.
Yeah.
Is there a motion I would entertain a motion to approve the October SCC minutes?
I would do the motion, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Mr. Kinzer. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Schillings. Should be by a millisecond, Ms. Avery. Any objection to approving the October SCC minutes? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are approved. Ms. Dasbach is not here as the assistant. Is there any other questions for the secretary? Okay, hearing none. The next item on the agenda is an LNC update. Mr. Nana is not here, but I do see Mr. Greg Hirsch, our District 3 Northern Conference alt. Mr. Hirsch, you have 5 minutes, sir.
Well, that is just perfect timing. I joined the Zoom and now it's my time. All right. Anyway, on November 9th, the LNC had a trial for Karen Ann Harles, and the Mises dominated LNC. They voted to remove her as secretary. Of course, that she is filing an appeal with the Judicial Committee. For now, Adrian Malagon has been appointed as temporary secretary, pending the outcome of her appeal. If she loses her appeal, then he will become voted in as the permanent replacement secretary with full voting powers and everything. Next thing, the weekend of December 7th, the LNC is having its next in-person meeting in Rhode Island, in Providence, Rhode Island. That weekend is our next in-person LNC meeting, which they kind of scheduled that the exact same weekend as our Christmas party. But oh well, things tend to happen. And Angela has also announced that her goal moving forward is that she wants to run libertarian candidates with the purpose of being a spoiler to help against Democrats to help get more Republicans into office. She posted this on Twitter, on social media. And she's also gleefully announced that the naming of Robert F. Kennedy in Trump's cabinet fulfills Trump's pledge of appointing a libertarian to his cabinet. Her definition of being a libertarian is that if you join the National Party, no matter what your philosophy is, you're a member, and it fulfills that promise. Those are the main things that have been happening with the LNC to date.
Any questions for Mr. Hirsch?
Do we know?
Go ahead, Mr.
Sorry.
Lawrence.
Do we know who is on the committee that's going to be reviewing that in the Judicial Committee? Because I thought Adrian Malagon was somebody that was on the Judicial Committee for the National Party.
Nope, there are no national board members on the Judicial Committee. They cannot be on the board because their sole purpose is to review actions and appeals against actions that the committee has taken.
I'll have to check the website and see if the names of the Judicial Committee members are listed.
It used to be listed on the main website. I don't know if it is anymore.
I think Mike Seebeck is the president or the chair. Stefan Kinsella's on there. Some others.
I think Mark Montoni is on there.
Are there any members that we have potential of reaching out to attempt to influence on behalf of Ms. Harless?
It's inappropriate to do that, and they're supposed to ignore those communications. Any communications through the Judicial Committee about a matter in front of the Judicial Committee have to be filed through the proper channels.
Okay.
Well, other people don't do that. We do because we do it right. Let's see. My question, Mr. Hirsch, is the Convention Oversight Committee and Convention Planning Committee, have they met? Are they doing anything? Do we have any information?
Yeah, there's been nobody named to that committee yet. That's not even been done yet.
Okay.
That committee has not been filled, much less has there a chair been appointed for it.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get to that.
But just as a reminder, then the 2026 convention is going to be held in Grand Rapids. I mean, we need actual real libertarians flooding that convention.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Hirsch? Okay, hearing none, we move on to the directors, starting with comms. Mr. Smith.
All right, thanks. I think the focus prior to the election was heavy posting on social media. In the week before, we were up to 3 or 4 posts per day, basically promoting our candidates and as many candidates as we could and encouraging people to vote. I want to give a big thank you to Lori, Liz, and Christy for all of their great work on the social media side. And we continue to have pretty good reach, more than 29,000 followers on Facebook, 5,500 on Twitter. Seemed like every time we posted about rainwater, we got a lot of traction. Every time we posted about Chase Oliver, we got a lot of traction, not all of it positive, but it sparked discussion. We also had a release about sign theft at polling places that was distributed to local media, and Abdul, as well as others, gave us a little bit of traction on that. I think as we go forward, we're going to turn our attention to issue advocacy and libertarian messaging, teaching the platform, and also being a watchdog when it comes to legislation. I know we have one op-ed written that will be published very soon, and others that will soon be in the works as well. So we're shifting focus post-election, but going to continue to push forward the libertarian message on our channels.
You're on mute.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any questions for the comms director?
I have a comment to all of the district
Sure, Mr.
reps.
Lennox, I'd be happy to recognize you for your comment.
Thank you. So I just want to let everybody know Andrew has done a fantastic job with issue advocacy for Hancock County residents. But obviously he lives in Hancock County. So if you live in a county and your local boards are doing things that are not really above board or that don't make any sense financially or politically or just don't make any common sense, make sure that you're sending that information over to him because he is an excellent resource to put information together. And those are the kind of things that we do in Hancock County to win voters over and to raise awareness. And we have a huge awareness problem in the state of Indiana. And I think Andrew can directly help us with that in every district, not just in District 6 or just in Hancock County.
Thank you, Mr. Lomax. Any other questions for Mr. Smith? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Mr. Hagerman, Tech Director.
I don't really have anything much to report, but I will start updating all the candidate information in Civi. Is it too early to start appending the year to everybody's name, or should I wait on that?
It's too early.
Okay,
'Cause
so
we
I
wanna
will
keep-
start
we wanna keep
putting
those
in all.
candidate- We want to keep that candidate list up there probably through, I'd say, at least the middle of December.
Okay,
And then we'll start transitioning them off of that page by adding the 24.
since Paul's no longer here, I will start looking up all the vote totals and all that, and getting that information entered.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hagerman? Okay, hearing none. In her capacity as vice chair handling membership, Miss Alexander for the membership report.
One moment. Okay. So today's numbers, we have 590 current memberships with 512 current unique members, but actually that's 591 and 513. We have a cash membership that was given to us in an event that hasn't been entered in yet. We're waiting on getting their personal info. I will be resuming my regular work on membership retention. Once a week, I will log in and contact members that are lapsed during the grace period. I also would like to work on an automatic email reminder going out to those who do not have auto renew set so that they have like a soft touch before we start contacting them in person. Any questions about membership?
I worked with Andy. We'd been working a long time to try to create those auto emails, and the problem that we had was with the recurring monthly. And the annual and triple were in the same membership tier. And so it would confuse which one was actually needed for renewal. During another campaign that me and Andy both were working on using the same system, we were able to fix those things. It's just something that I need to implement, but I didn't have time the week before I left. So it's something that I plan on having done before the 1st of December. So we'll have really good the renewal emails that I asked you to type up a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to be able to use those. I just need to sit down and plug them in and turn them on, essentially. Any questions about membership? I will give an update on I told you that there was a problem with the national membership report. There was a problem with the national membership report. It did not include our September or October numbers, the report that came out the beginning of November. I had a little freak out moment because the person who is supposed to be entering that information into the national database stopped responding to me. And the operations director for national replied to me on election day, basically saying she'd look into it. And then the next day she told me, oh, they were entered, but they were entered late and were before, and one of them was 100% my fault. The one for October was my fault. They had emailed me, communicated with me about the membership report. And in that time, I then thought I had sent it because I had my standard monthly email with them, but I didn't. So it didn't get done until late October. The November one was entered very quickly, which is the memberships in October. But in either case, she did inform me that they all were added. They were just added past the deadline for where they counted for the report. So that report number should have been something like 30 higher. I want to say it was like 37 members higher for Indiana. So we would have actually either been right where we were at, should have been, or the next slot up. So hopefully that'll be reflected in the December report. Okay, moving on to district reports. District 1, Mr. Schick.
Very little to report in District 1. LaPorte County held a election night watch party, and all three counties, they'll just continue to have their normal scheduled meetings. No other events have been going on. So that's it for District 1.
Any questions for Mr. Schick? Okay, hearing none. District 2, Ms. Coquillard.
Okay. I don't have too much to report either. We had our election night party. It was great. The band was great. The food was great. The camaraderie was great. I do want to say we did use some new tools this time around that we did text banking and phone banking, and along with door knocking. Most of our candidates participated in this, so that was great. Tim Cotton was in a two-way race. He got 22.21%, 8,686 votes against the Democrat. Charles Florence, D6 House Rep, in a two-way race against the Democrat, 19%, 3,483 votes. Melissa Kaufman, District 21 two-way race against Wesco, got 19.8%. with only 403 votes. And I want to say Wesco only got 1,633 votes. That race next time around is what we're going to focus on. Josh Vergil's District 22 two-way race against Snow, the Republican, 13.6%, 3,321 votes. And Amanda Mitchell in a three-way race for commissioner in St. Joseph County got 4.8%, 1,842 votes. And Will Henry, our congressional candidate, got 2.7%, 7,776 votes. So that's all I have to report.
We'll come back to that question in the data portion, Danny. Any questions for Ms. Coquillard? Okay, hearing none. District 3, Ms. Avery.
Thank you. Most of my report will be about election crap because that's basically the only thing that has happened between our last meeting and now. Jared Lancaster, our congressional candidate, got 3.5%. And I was looking at the breakdown of counties, and his highest county was actually Blackbird, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know if he put extra effort into Blackbird or they just were unsatisfied with the other choices or what.
Because they live close to me.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Clayton. Thank you. In Whitley County, Ryan Day ran against 3 Republicans in a pick 3 race. He got 12.7%. So he was kind of disappointed because he was hoping, like Luke Lomax, that he would take the seat, but it just was not in the cards. In Allen County, we didn't really have any candidates, so we focused on getting signs out. We were able to put signs out about the top 40 or 50 polling locations, and that seemed to work out pretty well. We also hit the 4 big early voting sites with signs, as we've done in previous years. So we'll see how that works out. I missed a little bit of what you guys were talking about with the triple membership. I know we had a new one in September in Allen County and a renewal in October in Allen County. And I still have seen nothing for those. So I'm not sure how how far behind the membership is versus when the payment is supposed to come. So I look forward to someday getting all of that back money. I don't think I have anything else. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Avery? Okay, hearing none, moving on. District 4, Mr. Lundy.
We dropped back down a couple members this month, down about 3. 1994 donation stayed pretty steady though. Shout out to Ashley Groff, who got more votes than any of our other congressional candidates. So good job, Ashley. Our Tippecanoe County candidates in two-way races came in about 20-25%. Our at-large candidates came in at about 2-3%. So pretty much as expected. County convention is scheduled for Morgan County on January 11th. Tippecanoe County convention is scheduled for January 13th. And that's pretty much all I got right now.
Any questions for Mr. Lundy? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Schilling, District 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Other than election season, there wasn't a whole lot happening. We did have our regular meeting in October. I got 2.7% of the vote in my district. We did have a additional independent candidate in the district who had been campaigning for the last year and a half. So I assumed he did the work and got the votes he deserved. Of course, the Republican won. And we did drop membership this past month, and I attribute that to the push for national numbers last year, ending in October. So, you know, I'm hoping that we will get more of those membership numbers back in the coming year in anticipation of the 2026 National Convention. That's all I have at this time.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Schillings? Okay. Hearing none. District 6, Mr. Lomax.
The election was not as successful as we wanted it to be, but more successful than it has been in the past. Most libertarian candidates outperformed previous numbers, save Don and Tanya in the gubernatorial race as far as Hancock County is concerned. I did want to give a special shout out to Travis Chittum, who ran State Senate District 28 campaign and got 12,488 votes in a two-way race. That was 22% of the people that voted in that Senate district. So he grossly outperformed everything else and taught us a lesson that we're going to focus on unopposed Republicans because the Democrats in Hancock County and in most of District 6 are feeling just as disenfranchised as the Libertarians are. So if we can capitalize on that a little bit and to use the national chair's wording, move that Overton window over to a little bit more acceptance of libertarian policies and libertarian platforms by appealing to the social freedoms that the Democrats are supposedly standing for. I think we can make some headway there. We have had multiple columns in the Greenfield Daily Reporter and op-eds from Andrew Smith about local issues and about voter engagement. And there has been a huge response online, both on the Nextdoor app and on our Facebook pages about those articles and pertaining to the conversation around them. So we're very excited about the progress that we've made, but we've obviously got a lot more work to do. We are already working on filling out a docket of candidates for 2026. And Hancock County and Johnson County are the only two that are continuously holding regular meetings that I know of. Hancock County just had ours on Thursday, and we have tabled the discussion for our county convention until next month. And that's all I've got.
Any questions for Mr. Lomax? Okay, hearing none. District 7, Ms. Glass.
I found the mute button. Woohoo. District 7, we have our Marion County has their monthly meeting next week on Wednesday. I talked to a few people at the election watch party and got their Twitter handles, so I'm going to send them invites to that meeting, hopefully growing our engagement. Our candidates did fairly well. The that were in three-way races were not spoilers. But they worked hard, and Rusty got over 6,000 votes, and I did not look to see how many Mark got. In the two-way race, my race, and I got 11% plus, which was over 1,700 votes, which was almost 1,000 more votes than the previous opponent did in 2016. So the libertarian message is getting out there, and Republicans in my district, at least, are seeing that their party might be neglecting them, and maybe the libertarians are stepping up. So that's all I've got for now. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Glass? Okay, hearing none, moving on. District 9, Mr. Kinzer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not a lot to report on. Want to give a little bit of an update on the election. Let me know if you guys have any trouble hearing me. I am in a bad area. The state rep position for District 71, Greg Hirsch was in. It was won by the Democrat. Greg got 1,015 votes with 3.8% of the vote for District 71 state rep. In Lawrence County, in the county council large race, it was pick 3. I got 7.82% of the vote, 3,173 votes. Michael Russell, 7.54% at 3,061 votes. And Nicholas Sinyard got 4.44% of the vote at 1,802 votes. In Floyd County, Morgan Beatty, the Libertarian, in a pick 3 race, she got 4,439 votes, which was 4.21%. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. And in Jackson County, Stephen Crawford, the Libertarian, for county council in that race, got 3,004 votes, 8.2%. We did have our regular meeting in Lawrence County in October. We did not have one in November. And we're just preparing for the holiday party come December 7th and looking forward to what's in the future for us. But that's about what I got at the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Kinzer. Any questions for Mr. Kinzer? Okay, hearing none, the next item on the agenda is the break. Is there any objection to not taking the break? Okay, we will skip the break. I would like to motion to amend the agenda to add 5 minutes to the data team. Is there any objection to that?
No objection.
Okay, hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please note the amendment to the agenda, 5 minutes for data.
And those were both moved by you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing on the thing is data, Mr. Lundy.
I don't actually have anything other than, and I don't even know if Liz has the answer to this, but I'd like to get the feedback. She mentioned her candidates did a lot of door knocking, and I would like to know if there was a particular reason they decided not to use voter gravity, or just what the story is there. I genuinely would like the feedback so we know how to proceed in the future, right?
Honestly, it was offered multiple times. I attended their county meetings, and some candidate, really Charles Florence was the only candidate who paid for the texting, the phone banking, the door knocking, and I think it was paid for. I'm pretty sure. I've asked them what tool they use. I'm pretty sure they worked with Good Party. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't decide to use our tools. I'm not sure. But
Okay.
I'll get an answer for you. I asked Tim. I'm just waiting on a response. But yeah, Charles was the one that organized the weekly meetups for that. So, and I know Melissa Kaufman, she had her own lists and she had her own. I don't know why she chose not. I think that was a money issue. She just decided to do her own thing. So yeah.
Sure. I would love to get the feedback though, just so we have it and we can make better decisions going forward to help our candidates, right?
Yeah, I'll get you an answer.
Thanks.
And also something, Danny, that I'd like to schedule time with you and me to meet with Chris Littleton again at Voter Gravity. to talk to them about moving forward, at least for the next year, how we would intend to continue using voter gravity for county parties, for surveying and things like that. Miss Avery.
Did any candidates take advantage of our offer to reimburse them for the fee?
Nope, not one.
The only people who actually used voter gravity was Clayton on Lori's team.
Did Floyd County, because we worked our ass off to get Floyd County in, did Floyd County?
Last time I looked, it was Lori's team was the only one to use it. I'll check again though.
Yeah. First, see if we even see Floyd County on the dashboard, because it was done by the county party. We may have to, because they're stupid, we may have to ask for them to be added to our dashboard to see those results, if it's not there. Miss Alexander, Madam Vice Chair, you know that Floyd County did complete the process, correct?
Let me double check my messages, but da-da-da-da.
Well, I'll just
Last
put
I
it
heard
in
from
my.
her was August.
Okay. I know I
Uh,
talked to her in September. I will put it on my agenda to reach out to Jennifer when I get back to Indiana, probably Monday, and see if they used voter gravity. And if they did, then I'll CC Danny and asking voter gravity to add them to our dashboard.
I'm not seeing it currently, but
Yeah. I know she was gung ho, and so was Miss Beatty. So
and one correction, people did also use it for phone banking.
yes.
So, and I think that was, for rainwater. So
Yeah. I think there was also phone banking for a couple other candidates that was done through that. But we also need to talk about the other data broker that we use, on whether or not that's, are we receiving benefit for it? It's a $5,000 annual fee essentially. Are we using it, or can we work on implementing strategies so that we are using it and preparing counties and candidates for using it in 2026 during the 25 cycle? Otherwise, it's something that we should drop. If we can't figure out a way to utilize it now to train people how to be ready for being able to use it in 26, then I think we probably need to just gut it. Any other questions for the data team? Okay, hearing none. Convention for 10 minutes, Madam Vice Chair.
sorry, I'm being bombarded by my husband. Convention is a much longer report. I have dropped links at the very top of the chat to all the convention pages that needed to be created. Lori did some zhuzhing last night. They look fair. If you see anything, typos, etc., let us know so we can adjust it. But all price points have been set. I did a little bit of math based on last year's budget and revenue, and I'm hopeful to estimate that we should receive about 26K in total revenue. That won't be all profit, obviously, but total 26K for revenue. I'm happy to share the working budget on an individual basis. We still need to contact Lumberjacks when Evan gets back into town and confirm our contract details are still good and pay the deposit, which is less than $400. You have the link. Sorry, I'm running through here. If you hear of somebody that didn't get the link or wants the link, etc., let me know. I need to send it to them individually if they've opted out. If you know potential sponsors or auction item donors, now is the time to reach out to them. The link is in the chat of this Zoom meeting and I can send it to you, or you can find it on the website. Also, something I thought of, it would be cool if people that are interested in running for the officers could send me a formal statement of intent and a headshot so that I can post that on the website as well. And they can also be listed in the convention program. We need to start looking at our delegate counts. I think that's a Clayton and Evan thing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
What do you need?
Yeah.
Delegate counts
Yes. Yeah.
to send out to counties. And once we have those numbers and you then notify all your counties how many delegates they have, we need to remind them to send the delegates and alternates as soon as possible, so we can make sure they're registered.
I just realized something that we didn't think about during the last convention. I'm sorry to interrupt. The delegate counts are based on membership on December 31st. SOS and membership count on as of December 31st. So I think what we'll have to do is do what we did previously and have a live
A
update.
draft.
Yeah, where they can at least get an estimation, because you're not going to have 100 people join your county party, or 10. I think because 10 is what triggers a new delegate. So it shouldn't be too off, but technically the numbers aren't locked until December 31st. The SOS numbers are clearly already locked, but the membership ones technically aren't until December 31st.
Noted.
Go ahead, Ms.
Like
Alexander.
me.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. That was actually the end of my report. I am sure there are questions. There was a lot that Lori and I did this week. Please do not hesitate to shoot me an email. My life has freed up a lot more now that the campaign is over. And this is my focus.
Lori, my question is what you had messaged me about last night, with you, in the words of Madam Vice Chair, zhuzhing up the page. Do you still need me to look at doing that thing or not? Did you get it?
It would be nice, but it's not urgent, so
Okay.
it can wait.
Okay.
It's not imperative. I
I've
can
got some
make
time
everything else
before my
look well.
flight. I've got some
Before
time.
you leave Vegas.
Yeah.
You can
I
do it when you get
literally
back
have
to Indy.
downtime before my flight that I don't have anything else going on. So I'll log in and see if I can fix it. I
Thank
just
you.
wasn't sure if you had already gotten it figured out or not. So
I
I'll take a look.
cannot find the setting.
Is it both the sponsorship and the convention page, or just
All 3 pages.
Okay.
The event, the convention, and the sponsorship.
Okay. Okay. I'll take a look. Any questions about the convention? Be the voice of liberty. Can we do with the graphics, just spitballing here? I don't know if you've already figured it out, but a bullhorn.
Have you seen the sponsorship page?
I have not looked at anything since you did. Like, when I created those pages and had to go in and fix a couple of things, I have not seen them since then. So no, I have not.
I
don't know what
recommend you click the link and look at it.
Okay, I'll do that Monday.
We did change the sponsorship price points a little bit around this year, because I don't think anybody's ever given us 10 grand. It's far more likely that 2 people might give us 5 grand. So you can go online to fill out that sponsorship, and then Lori will contact you about your graphic.
Speaking of, I need to make that page. Those receipts need to go to you as well.
Yes, please.
I mean, it goes to you, to Ms. Schillings. That way you have the contact info right away for people who bought a sponsorship package or vendor booth or whatever. Let's see. Any other questions or comments about the Indiana 2025 convention? Do remember that at our December 7th SCC meeting, we will be going into executive session to nominate and vote on Affiliate of the Year. That reminds me, we need to get the Affiliate of the Year trophy back at the December 7th meeting. So we need that back so that
I will get with and try to get that for you.
Okay. You're also supposed to bring me a couple of yard signs, Mr. Kinzer.
I'll think about it.
you're breaking up real bad. I couldn't hear you. What I imagine you said was,
I'll think about it.
mm, any other questions about the
Don't think long.
Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda is election recap. Did anybody have any additional information that wasn't covered? One thing that
I do.
should be noted is Mr. Rainwater, our gubernatorial candidate, did win a precinct in Brown County, which was amazing. Yay.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Okay. When you look at the numbers too, he essentially got every vote that wasn't a straight ticket vote. There were, I think, 10 libertarian straight ticket votes, and then out of, I think it was close to 400 votes, all but like 31 were either for him or straight ticket. And he got like 55% of the vote in that county, in that precinct, excuse me. So that's pretty awesome. And we're going to be doing some more precinct by precinct analysis over the next couple of months to look at really, really strong precincts, maybe, send some mailers in that area, do some targeted ads to try to increase engagement in conjunction with the county parties, of course. But we want to help bring awareness, maybe get people more involved. I'm sure if they were voting libertarian heavily in that precinct, they're probably not happy with the election outcomes. So, Ms. Alexander.
Since it's, election recap, time, kind of shifting gears a little bit here. The Republican Party seems to be eating themselves, according to today's cheat sheet, which Evan will send out later, I'm sure. And it looks like Lieutenant Governor-elect Micah Beckwith will have very, very few duties and responsibilities heading into the next few years. So that's fun. And that's because of us, like a little bit, because Micah Beckwith was a Don supporter 4 years ago. And so he, a lot of our Don votes kind of followed Beckwith this year, I think. And it's really kind of good to see the influence and the ideals eating themselves alive. It makes them weaker. It makes us stronger going forward. That's all I had.
Any other tidbits for the election recap? Okay, hearing none, moving on to, I think it's the election party, or excuse me, holiday party. It'll be shortly after our SCC meeting on December 7th. It'll be at the 801 Shelby Street location. I haven't put up the ticketing system, but I will have that done by Monday. End of business on Monday, November 18th, Christy. So I know you hate it when I just say Monday. We'll have that ticketing system up, and then we'll send out an email about the election or about the holiday party. It'll be the same as before. It'll be a $10 event. We'll have some light food, desserts, beverage station. We'll do the white elephant gift giving again. What do you guys think about the dessert march? Was that good, not good? Do you guys want me to go get desserts for that?
I think it was a good thing. I think we had way too much for the attendance.
Yeah, it was fun. We just need like half the amount.
We didn't know how many people were going to come, so
Right.
I overestimated. I'd rather have too much than too little, because we can load people up with desserts. But we didn't ticket it last year, or we did. We did ticket it. Didn't we? Yeah, we did, because Fruit came in and gave money at the door.
I think we had issues with the website or something getting it up, so it was late.
Yeah.
It was really late.
Yep, I think that's what it was. Oh yeah, because we just transitioned over to Civi, and the ticket, yeah, we couldn't do the event tickets for that. That's what it was. Okay, so we'll know who's coming. Yep, we'll do an ugly sweater contest again. I've got an amazing sweater. Just saying. It may light up and play music. But we'll see. Anything else that you guys want or think we should include in the holiday party?
Did we want to like adapt a family or something?
I was thinking about doing holiday cards for county or state inmates.
That's a great idea, Evan.
We did that last year.
I thought we did hospitals last year.
I'm glad you thought of that.
No.
Okay. Well, then let's do it again this year. I saw ornaments decorating for kids. Who was that said that? Was it that was Lori? Cool. I don't know how to do that or what that would look like. Do you want to?
I can make a dozen arts and crafts little projects for our younger visitors because I know we're going to have some, hopefully.
Yep. Yep. Miss Avery, I saw you looked like you wanted to say something. The meeting I believe we have set for 2 p.m. for the SCC meeting. And we could probably push that. I do intend to have the policy manual by the 7th, that meeting. So I don't think it's going to be a very long meeting. So we may want to push the time because I think we have the holiday party starting at 6 with setup between 5 and 6. So what we could do is keep the 2 o'clock, and if the board members want to leave and go get something to eat, and like an actual meal instead of cheese and crackers, then come back for the holiday party at 5. Does that sound good, Miss Alexander?
That sounds good. I just want to, we had spoken before at the last meeting about potentially setting the budget at the December meeting. So I don't know, is it still? No.
Because we didn't have the policy manual and I wanted the policy manual first. That would outline the budget. And also we don't have the budget available now. So I don't want to try to throw it into a December 7th meeting kind of at the last minute. So I think we'll just stick with doing it post convention unless something drastic happens. And Danny hated the idea. So I just don't want to fight with him right now. I've got too many other things that I actually care about. So is everybody in agreement of keeping the SCC meeting for 2 o'clock, breaking for food after the meeting, and then coming back for 5 o'clock for holiday setup, with the party starting at 6? Okay, that's the schedule we'll keep then. Any other questions or comments about the holiday party?
Yeah, I just want to say that this office thing has paid off, in my opinion, even better than we thought when we first went into it. Like a place for events, like I imagine it's almost paid for itself just with that, plus a space for you and the vice chair to work. Like I've been very impressed at our utilization of the space.
Well, and I can tell you, during just the month of October, candidates used the space. Rainwater had a couple of interviews there. Tanya had a couple of interviews there. Siniac was supposed to have an interview there, but then they canceled. They postponed it like the Friday before the election. So I was like, dude, they're not doing it. Andy Horning almost was going to do that, but then they ended up following him around the Indy Rainbow Chamber event instead. Chase Oliver was in Indy for 2 days, and during that time, he did numerous interviews and podcasts from the office. So it's definitely being utilized. I would like to mention to the board members, please do come and work. If you're in Indy and you need a place to work or you want to schedule some time to come in and work, please utilize the office. All 4 of the officers have keys, but you're also as a board member, you can come in and use any of the building's drop-in space. So you can have one of the spaces that you can come in and work in. Even if we're not there. So like I'm in Vegas today. I'm assuming Kristen is not in the office. I'm betting that Clayton and Michael are not there. You can still go in if you have the app and just use the drop-in space. So if you want to reserve one of the conference rooms, let me know. We have 10 hours a month, and we have not even come close to ever using all 10 hours in 1 month. As a bonus, I also have a private office there, and I also have 10 hours a month for that. So we technically have 20 hours because I'll never use my personal 10 hours. So, and I'm happy to, if we start to come close to going over, to letting you guys use that. If a candidate wants to come in and have a private meeting in a conference space, I'm willing to do that for a county, a candidate, anybody that needs to. Miss Schillings needs a break for, she say 5 minutes. Is there any objection to breaking for 5 minutes? Okay, we are at recess for 5 minutes. It is 11:32, so please be back at 11:37. Luckily, I still have my computer set to Indy time because I would not have been able to do that math quickly.
Really?
Happy anniversary, Chuck.
Thank you.
So where can you see precinct data for the election?
You usually have to get that from your county clerk. Although when it all comes in on the SOS site, if you do the download option, it may have it, question mark, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It will, but not yet. It's not, they don't provide it completely until after the certification of the election.
Right.
So like my last data poll of voter info voter history will be Monday, the 18th, and then whatever the weekday is closest to December 1st, so December 2nd. And then those will be my last election data polls. And then I'll download the election results from the SOS system as well.
Right. So if you're looking for statewide, waiting on the SOS to certify all of them is the best way to do it. If you just want your county, just email your clerk and they'll usually provide it.
Well, so that data is available from the SOS website too. It's every election is available in that download. It's just
saying
not
it's quicker
complete.
sometimes. Your clerk will get it to you faster than the SOS will.
Yeah.
Because they got to certify it before they'll make it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is everybody back? Okay, Lori's back.
Yep.
Okay. So the time is 11:39 and we are back to in order. The last item, I was going to hold off on putting this on the agenda for another month or two, but it is pertinent. There are things that are happening. The request has come again, and I feel like I need direction from the SCC on how to move forward. In October, Mr. Heiss, who is a contractor with the National Party, and I think his title is political strategist, reached out to me and asked for time at our next SCC meeting, which would have been the October meeting. And I said, sure. What is it for? And it was to pitch Project Decentralized Revolution to us to adopt it as a state. And I said, sure, I can give you 15 minutes on our agenda. And he said, no, I need 45 minutes. And I said, I'm not inclined to put 45 minutes on my agenda for something we didn't ask for. And I felt pretty strongly that this board would not want, and it would amend it down to 15 minutes anyway. He said, okay, let's try again later. And I said, let me give you a day that's not an SCC meeting and just make it a board meeting because I don't know that there's an action item that goes with it. And I gave him some dates and he was not available. And when I asked him to give me dates, I never heard back. Until I heard back post-election asking to follow up to schedule it for our next board meeting. During that time, Mr. Heiss, before the election, endorsed Trump publicly. We all know the actions and steps that our national chair has taken, and it has been publicly linked through comments from the Aaron. Why can't I remember Aaron's last name? At the Mises Caucus leadership, as well as statements made by Mr. Heiss and our national chair, that part of Project Decentralized Revolution is to run candidates to disrupt Democrats from being elected. So I would like to get the input from our board, whether or not we would even like to entertain hearing about this project from the contractor from the National Party. I open the floor for comments. Please do raise your hand, and I see Miss Alexander first.
I am open to letting him say his piece and then taking a vote immediately in front of him. That seemed to work out well for us last time. I think it presents us as a united front, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Miss Alexander. Miss Schillings?
I will second the opinion that he should be allowed to present his information. However, I will speak against the idea of only trying to elect, like running us to oppose Democrats only to elect Republicans. Our party, our platform is to elect libertarians and to promote libertarian ideals, not to support another party at the national level, at the state level, or at local levels. It's contrary to our libertarian beliefs, and I think that they are detrimental to our party's success holistically. So I will allow him to speak and immediately vote him down.
Thank you, Ms. Schillings. Mr. Lundy?
I'd like to remind you, he not only endorsed Trump, he also ran an attack ad against our candidate. I'm not interested to hear what he has to say. I think he should be fired, not wasting our time. I have no interest in wasting 3 minutes on that guy, so I'm against it.
Thank you, Mr. Lundy. Anybody else have any comments they'd like to make before I make my additional comments?
How the heck do you do the raise hand function? I feel like it changes every time.
I'll just say that I saw your hand. Go ahead, Mr.
It's in the React for anybody else who's looking.
It isn't. It is. Oh, there it is. Okay, I did it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Mr. Lundy. There's no point in hearing it out if we walk into it deciding it's going to be voted down. I mean, that's just a waste of everyone's time. I think we've done our duty. You can say, I presented it to the board and, they're willing to hear arguments, but no one feels like they're going to be convinced. I don't think it'd be a good use of time. I think it would just cause more division. And I don't want to hear it.
Thank you, Mr. Saltz. I'm going to take Ms. Glass first and then come back to you, Ms. Schillings. Ms. Glass?
So I do think we should at least hear what they have to say, he has to say. We need to be better than them and listen to people who disagree, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Glass. And Ms. Schillings, I'm going to come back to you. I want to let people speak for the first time. Ms. Coquillard?
I kind of feel both ways. I completely understand where Danny's coming from, and personally, I don't want to hear anything he has to say. I think we've repeatedly over and over given him the benefit of the doubt. And I don't think that it's probably a good use of time. And I also see Libby's point that we need to, at least give him the floor space to say that we heard him out. Because we do have members within the party the state party that would appreciate that. So I think I'm leaning more towards hearing him out.
Thank you, Ms. Kokolar. Ms. Schillings.
I want to know if we are able to bring any other parties to this meeting to listen to their pitch that may not be directly involved with this board. Like just standard membership, if it is, you know.
Well, I plan on recording it and posting it because it would be an official meeting that will have some sort of action would be taken.
So it would be public and not a private.
Yeah, we might not let
session.
public comment or public participation, but we would at least probably, I don't know about streaming it, but we would at least record it and post it. If you guys wanted me to stream it, I don't think it would be inappropriate. And to be quite honest, if somebody wants to present something to us like that doesn't want it shared with our members, I'm not interested in hearing it.
Correct. It needs to be public discourse if we're going to allow public to make a decision about how we're going to run our party only in benefit of Republicans.
Yep, we believe in the full transparency of our party, unlike National. Is there anybody else that would like to make comments before I close it out with my thoughts and feelings about it? I'm going to make sure everybody gets heard before I
think I'll throw in one last comment, just, because I'm the one that's riled up, I think.
Go ahead, Mr. Lundy.
I joined the Libertarian Party because I do not want to support the two-party system. And I feel like his pitch is going to be opposite of that.
Yeah, I'm going to just jump in and echo Danny's comments. I'm sorry, I can't find the raise hand feature either, but I feel like we put ourselves in a position where if we hear from Mr. Heiss and suddenly something good happens, this lets National take credit for it. But I also, because National strategy right now is so different from ours, we're essentially a professionally run party that exists to elect libertarians, and it feels like their strategy is 180 degrees the opposite of that right now. That I'm not sure there's a whole lot of common ground that may be found between us. I'm not opposed to letting him speak, but I certainly would consider doing so to be a bit of a waste of our time and his.
Ms. Class.
Is there a way we could lessen the amount of time that he has? I do think there are people in the party, in the state, who still lean Macy's, even me being one of them, being annoyed with the fact that now Robert F. Kennedy is considered a libertarian in the cabinet. But I do think that there are Macy's people in the county, maybe not as prominent, but that would want us to listen. And they're good people, me included.
I tried to get him to lessen the time, and he said just his pitch is 45 minutes. Just his presentation is 45 minutes. So it would be even longer for our comments and questions, just FYI. So anybody else want to throw in their 2 cents? Mr. Dixon, you are allowed to speak too if you would like to. Oh, he did. As I was saying that, he made his comment. I'm an experienced salesman. No pitch needs 45 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Okay, so I will give you my thoughts. My initial thought when I got the text message, it was not on your life. And it had absolutely nothing to do with Angela or Michael Heiss or National, this caucus, that caucus, anything. It had everything to do with, if Mark Rutherford wanted to do this, I would say no. National has no business recruiting local candidates and then outfitting and running those candidates in contravention to the wishes and desires of the state or county affiliates. I consider this project to be an interference to the affiliate autonomy and authority. And so I was very much against just the entire idea of its existence, regardless of who it was. It is one thing to create programs and resources and tools for the affiliates to be able to use to recruit people. but they are actively going, and I know this because I've already gotten 3 people who have been recruited by national to run locally. And it was made very clear that they came through national. I forward all 3 of them on to their county party, because that's my responsibility to do that. But I am angry that national is interfering, that they are enforcing their strategy on us. When we had things that we wanted to prioritize for talking points for this past election that we as a state board set out, we didn't make it mandatory that every candidate stuck to those issues. We didn't make it mandatory that our county affiliates only nominated the candidates that we recruited to them. We just gave them the tools and the resources and let them do their thing. That being said, there may be bits of good information, nuggets and strategies in this presentation. And so while I don't want to participate, if the decision was left solely up to me, Indiana would not participate in the program. But I am not a despot. And I think you guys need to hear what the program is. There might be good nuggets in there. I want to take good strategies and reject the bad. And maybe there is something that we don't know in this program that would make us want to participate. National has been really a garbage at explaining the benefits and resources that are available in the programs to the affiliates. Voter gravity is a case in point. We are the state. Pennsylvania is the only other state that used voter gravity to the level we did. Put in the level of effort that we did. Let that sink in. And it's a great tool that national helped us get, and then they just let us down in the implementation and application use of it. So I have to think as a chair for the state party to think maybe there's something good in here. Maybe they're just marketing it poorly. Maybe there's something good. But I also know that it also could be absolute garbage and toxic. But I think as a board, it's our responsibility to not make the assumption and instead despise but verify. How's that? Instead of trust but verify? Distrust but verify. Give the benefit of the doubt to at least have the meeting, to let him make his pitch in its entirety. We ask our questions. I want to be open to being receptive to those ideas. But I'm also very willing for us to send a message from one of the strongest affiliates in the states. If it is a bad program, if it is interfering with our authority, for us to take a vote saying no, and to express that vote to the national board saying, we reject this, please stay the hell out of our state. I think that would carry a lot of weight and a lot of clout. But I don't want to walk into it with a motion pre-written to reject it. I want to be open to hearing what potential positive applications may be in this program. I don't want to just reject it outright. Those are my thoughts. Is there anybody who would like to follow up with what I said? Mr. Schultz.
Yeah, I mean, I I posted a message in the chat, and I'll just speak to it, I guess. I suppose my reason for him not wanting to necessarily come is because I think it has a potential to cause internal strife in what has heretofore been a cohesive board. We know people on this board disagree. There's a minority that is, despite certain issues and maybe even being less supportive, I am probably more supportive of the strategy than many other people would be. I'm happy with what we're doing in Indiana right now. I'm happy with the board. I think the board's happy with the job I've done. I don't want to rock the boat, frankly. And calling this to a vote, I will vote my conscience, and there's a very good chance I'll vote yes and make a lot of people mad. I might vote no. It really depends. I'm not going to accept what, I don't know much about the project. I've heard what the opposition thinks the project is. It'll depend a lot on his demeanor and his presentation, but I'm not going to walk into it guaranteeing that I'm going to vote no. And yeah, I don't want to cause strife in what is currently a very well functioning board and party, and just have a reason for division. Maybe it is worth it for the sake of free speech and getting the ideas out there. Maybe this has to happen, but it seems like there's things we agree on and there's things we disagree on. And I intentionally focus on the things that we agree on because there's no reason to have conflict if we don't have to. I put out signs for Donald Rainwater. I supported our congressional candidate by helping knock doors. There's no reason to fight over the things we don't agree on if it's not at the national convention.
And I'll just rebuttal and say that I don't think anybody should walk into that meeting with an automatic no or an automatic yes. If I think that we are in general just going to have an automatic no, then I don't think we should do it, period. But I would encourage people not to, even me. I mean, I'm trying to be objective. I don't like certain people. I don't like what they've done. I've actually asked our rep to put a motion forward asking for their removal. That being said, I am willing to hear the proposal in a neutral, leaving everything that I feel and think at the door, because it may be something that benefits this state party or our county affiliates. And that is our ultimate job, is to put our feelings, whatever they may be, aside to find something that is good for our affiliate. And they've done a piss poor job marketing this program to the affiliates. So I don't really know what is in it. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I only know what I can infer, and my inference is clouded with my bias. So I'd like to know more to make sure that we are making a good decision for our county affiliates and our candidates in 26. That's my feelings towards it. Mr. Hagerman.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I don't think having him present will cause any strife within this board, even if Clayton was to vote yes and we all vote no. We understand that just because we disagree, that we don't hate each other. I don't see that being an issue at all. The only thing that really concerns me about this is just seeing how the Mises Caucus has worked. Is that we could potentially end up with a bunch of candidates that really don't care what Indiana libertarians think and are there to cause strife within their race to help a Republican and will say very horrible things for the party simply as a way to bolster the race. And we won't really have any control over that. That's the thing that scares me about this whole project in the first place. Because you won't know this until they're on the ballot and they go and give an interview and say all kinds of horrible things. And now we're having to react to it. And of course, it's smearing the rest of the party across the state because that's going to get all the attention.
I would say that falls on our delegates and our county affiliates to know their candidates and not just run somebody. It is okay to say no. In Marion County, they did not run a mayoral candidate because the only candidate that came forward was not a libertarian. He literally wanted the local government to build casinos as revenue generators. And I think we made a mistake in a couple of places this cycle by allowing, and I pushed for one of them, so it's on me as well. Candidates that even one candidate had been in the party for 3 years but had never been involved and turned around and endorsed another candidate. for president in a press release. We do need to say no sometimes. And I do kind of regret I don't regret pushing for all 9 congressional districts being filled, but I think we would have been better if we only had 7. As opposed to the damage that was done by 2. But it's on us as state leaders at the state convention, district reps talking to county parties to say, if you don't know them, don't put them on the ballot because you don't know what crazy thing they're going to say. Just because you have paid your $25 to be a member doesn't make you a libertarian, regardless of what may be said on Twitter. And so
I remember when we said that about Bill Weld.
yes, exactly. So I think we need to really emphasize that over the next year with our county leaders and us as a board prioritizing that message to our affiliates that it's okay to say no to NOTA a nomination. It is perfectly okay to do that. Mr. Lundy.
Michael Heiss is a divisive figure. In my opinion, he's shown time and time again he does not have the best interests of this party in his heart. And if National is serious about us considering this proposal, they should send someone else to present. Someone else who did not nominate Donald or endorse Donald Trump and did not attack our candidate. If they want us to listen, send a better spokesperson.
I mean, that is a thing. That is something that I could send a message to Angela saying we are open to hearing about the project as the state board, but we do not wish to hear it from somebody who denigrated our candidate and openly endorsed a candidate from another party. So please send someone else. I'm specifically going to hold on, Michael. I'm specifically going to ask Libby and Clayton, what would you think about that?
I think that's a lot better. I mean, I think, yeah, I agree with Danny. I think it'll go over a lot better, and it can be presented more neutrally and maybe considered more neutrally if it's from a different source. And I think we can be honest and say, like, our board members will try to check their bias at the door, but just the history that they have, knowing Michael Heiss, like it's likely several will just want to vote no, specifically because of the messenger. And I think that's a perfectly fair and honest thing to say.
Ms. Glass, what do you think?
I also think that some people in the Macy's caucus can be just looked at as kind of a troll, and that maybe I have spoken to Michael and I pushed back and said, hey, maybe we should try and get some of the non-Macy's people to help with some of this stuff or something like that. And he did not take it well when I suggested that maybe we should expand and try and bring people with differing opinions into the space. So the vitriol that is sometimes associated with him, I think, would be a negative and not a positive.
And my feeling is that the National Party should recognize that in a request that we make. And if they reject it, then that tells me the seriousness of the project.
Yeah, like we have a rep. If this was voted on by the board, which it was as a national strategy, why doesn't Dustin Nana report it to us?
Yep. Which honestly, I'm going to be blunt here. I don't believe our district reps for the 3rd region, North and South, have been included in projects and discussions from national. They're not being blacklisted, but they're being put in what we call the dungeon. Dustin and I believe Greg, and Paul Dar, and Mr. Rutherford requested fundraising phone call lists. And I know Dustin didn't get it, Paul Dar didn't get it, and Mark Rutherford didn't receive it. I don't know if Greg did. But
I did.
You did, okay. So that is a thing that's happening. So my first reaction was, or maybe the second or third reaction was, are you reaching, is he reaching out to me to say that he reached out? That way they can say they did. Mr. Schulteis, you've had your hand up for a minute.
Is there anything further on the agenda or requiring a vote? Because my conference is on lunch break, so I need to leave unless there's something requiring my attention.
I couldn't hear anything that you just said.
He said, let's vote on it. He's got to go.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything requiring a vote or my attention? Because I need to leave shortly.
I don't. Do you guys want to take a vote?
Not really.
I move that we propose to have someone come and present this, but not Michael Heiss.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Kokolar. To restate it, it was moved to hear the presentation if presented by somebody other than Michael Heiss.
Do you want to amend that? Because if Angela presented it, I think it would be equivalent.
I believe
I would love to hear from the chair.
Or
if the national chair wanted to speak to us, I would absolutely say yes.
Okay, fair
100%.
enough.
And we would treat her with respect and decorum. And we would be, yes, we would, Danny. At least while the camera was on. Because we are a professional organization, and I would expect them to treat me the same way if I attended an LNC meeting. To listen to what I had to say as an affiliate, and I will listen to what she has to say as our national chair. That is the motion. It was seconded by Ms. Kokolard. Restating the motion, it is to hear the decentralized revolution project to be pitched to the SCC if presented by someone other than Michael Heiss. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, is this in an SCC meeting or a separate meeting?
It would end up being a separate meeting. I'm not going to. Mr.
Okay, then aye.
Okay.
Aye.
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 All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it. So I will try to arrange that with our national chair, and I will let you guys know how that goes. I will schedule it for an evening after 6 p.m. Eastern. To the best of my ability. I know a lot of people's schedules, so I'll try to work around that. All right. Are there any announcements? Okay, hearing no.
Yeah, sorry. It should have been in my secretary report, but just note that bylaws and standing rules amendments should start coming in. If anybody wants to do that, let your counties know. We had the big changes last year, so hopefully there aren't that many, but any proposals would be due 60 days before the convention to me.
And I'm going to send out an email about that. I think I have it drafted for Friday. This coming Friday, to remind people. They're the same one that I did last year. Ms. Schillings.
Just a quick reminder that any awards that you might have are also due by, I think that Kristen had it by the end of the year, December 31st.
And there's multiple emails going out about the nominations, and then we'll do the rounds of voting. I can't remember, Kristen, when did we set the deadline for the votes?
Okay, so I did forget this in my report. I had talked to Michael the other day. The OPA vote can stay open for as long as we want it to with no additional cost. The only cost associated is with the actual polls and how many people we're sending it out to. So that will be able to be open. OpenVote also has a feature where they send out an automatic reminder email every 3 days with that email address's individual unique ID number. They will not send it if they've already voted. So it is seamless. It is no problem for it to be open from January 1st to February 1st.
Okay, perfect. Is that what we set it for, was the 30 days, January 1st to
Yes.
February 1st? Okay.
I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance.
I knew it was a longer period. I just couldn't remember when. Okay, any other announcements? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
A
moved.
motion to adjourn.
Moved by Ms.
So
Gladys.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hagerman. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. It is 12:12 and we are adjourned 3 minutes early.
Damn it.
We're going to thorough good car wash.
Was that Lemmy that voted nay?
Hold on, we are still live on YouTube.